What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Xbox 2. I'm Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, as you all know. And with me, as always, is my UK buddy, my bro, my pal, my mate, the one and only Jez Corden of Windows Central. What's going on, buddy?
I'm okay. I wish I had some alcohol, but I don't.
You wish you had some alcohol.
Yeah,
You didn't have alcohol last week, man. Like, are you okay? What's going on? I
I
worry
just
about you when you don't get your alcohol.
I'm far away from alcohol. I need to order it off Amazon Prime or something. But yeah.
Mm. So I hear you fiddling around with some sticks. Are you playing a game in the background?
Maybe.
Maybe. Possibly. Is it a game that you can or cannot mention?
I can mention it, I'm pretty sure. But I can't tell you if it's any good or not. But spoilers, it is good. City Skylines. I'm reviewing City Skylines right now. And I got some keys, extra keys as well, so I might be doing a giveaway soon somewhere.
Yeah, I have City Skylines as well, and I'll have a video up sometime later this week. But speaking of keys, I don't know if you have noticed or anybody out there, I'm giving away 20 Xbox One games. Did you see that?
Damn, son. Are those yeah, what are the games? What I was trying to get at.
Pretty much, Voodoo Vince Remastered, Ukulele, Flint Hook, pretty much like any game that's kind of come out in the last 2 weeks, I'm giving away 20 of them. To one lucky winner will win 20 Xbox One games.
That's
awesome pretty good.
Everyone in the chat needs to get on that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the link's in the description if anybody wants to play those games or check them out. Save you a lot of money because the Voodoo Vince is what, 15, and Ukulele by itself is 40. So
true that.
A lot of games to add to that collection. But I haven't talked to you since we did this last. So what have you been up to?
Yeah, I wanted to say that I've been busy, but really what I've been doing is I've been playing lots of games. And sort of, so I got like no time whatsoever. So I just sort of everything that isn't work related sort of gets pushed out to the side when I'm trying to play games and stuff. And I've been addicted to this PC game called Stellaris, which is basically City Skylines in space. And then I got the key for City Skylines, so I've been reviewing that as well. Both games are impossibly addictive. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing recently. But yeah,
impossibly addictive, huh?
Impossibly addictive. It will take over your life and ruin your productivity and relationships. I've written that in the review actually. So
yeah. I think your girlfriend texted me saying that if you don't stop playing those games, that she's gonna leave you.
Let's hope not.
Anyways, because I did kind of make fun of you. I was like, hey, why don't you go play Stellaris some more, buddy? Because that's what you were doing.
It's amazing though, man. You can fight space dragons in it.
Does it have 4K assets though?
Stellaris, I don't know, man. I mean, it needs so much GPU power just for its space battles. I don't know if it could handle 4K as well. You probably need like SLI graphics cards to run it. But yeah.
So we got a bunch of topics we wanted to run through, but first, I kind of wanted to talk about Xbox Fanfest. Now
I am unaware of this. I just got a tip in my tips inbox on Windows Central about this. So do you want to explain to me what happened?
All right, so I made a video a couple days ago. They announced a long time ago that they were doing FanFest again, right? And people were waiting for like how it was going to happen and all that stuff after the giant clusterfuck that was last year, where they had 500 tickets and you had to go wait at the small thing, but 1,000 people showed up, right? 1,000 freaking people showed up.
Wow.
And they had to go to this raffle system and people had to stay overnight. I mean, it was a complete disaster. So because of that, they decided to move it to an online registration, which is, I kind of thought that's what they would do. And a couple days ago, they said, keep out Wednesday the 19th. Follow Money Rumble and follow the Xbox things. They'll tweet out a link to this registration website, which they did promptly today at 6 a.m. Pacific, 8 a.m. Eastern, right? And they were going to do 4 drops of 100 codes. So the first 100 people to register at 8 a.m. would get the tickets, right? So, seems easy enough. And then, the time rolls around, and it just seems like suddenly way more than 100 people were like, "Hey, I got in. And people were like, "Wait a minute, what happened?" And then they were supposed to do a drop at 11 o'clock, and they canceled it. So then people started thinking, "Whoa, did they give away more tickets than they were supposed to? What's going on here?"
It's like,
and sure enough,
with the airplane thing.
And sure enough, they gave away more tickets than they had. They probably gave away 1,000. So they just announced like an hour ago, or basically that they're voiding all the people's tickets that were accepted. They're going to give them something special for their troubles, and then they're going to redo the whole process again on a different date and time. So yeah. So can you call it Xbox fan fail or what?
That's a pretty huge mess up. Yeah, but the thing is, the first thing I thought was, "Oh, something special for my trouble. I wonder what they're gonna get for free." So it might
probably get like
a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah, well, were they get like a T-shirt or a Scorpio pin or something?
What if they get an actual Scorpio?
Nah, they wouldn't do that. I mean, that would be cool, but there's no way they get an actual Scorpio.
Nah.
I mean, come on, that'd be great.
I am intrigued to know what they're gonna do for people.
I kind of want to know what happened behind the scenes, because I think Microsoft hired out if you went to the website, it definitely was like wasn't Microsoft. It was like, probably a third-party vendor they hired to do it. So I was kind of interested in seeing like, what exactly happened, who's to blame here, and who got fired for this. Because somebody did. Because 2 years in a row now,
just an honest mistake.
Yeah, I mean, it very well could have been.
They've had issues. You were saying they've had issues before with FanFest, right?
Yeah, last year they definitely had 1,000 people. And they only were going to get 500 in. Yeah, there is definite issues there. I just hope nobody got the confirmation and then decided to book their flights. And then get their
double hoss.
Yeah, that'd be.
Oh dear.
So like Aaron was on vacation. I'm sure they called him and was like, "We screwed up again, Aaron. What do we do?" Because that's all the marketing side of stuff.
Well, as long as they make it right in the end. I mean, they've always had screw-ups. What happened last year with FanFest? Because something went wrong last year with FanFest, right?
Like, well, yeah, like I said,
too many people turned up or something.
Yeah, way too many people turned up for it last year. But Microsoft, they got everybody in who was there, basically. So, they try to do right by their fans, even though technology failed us in this thing and the website didn't work properly, or it gave away too many keys. Like, I was getting messages like, "You need to do a rant about this and really give it to Microsoft." And I'm like, look, I mean, I don't know what happened, and I'm not going to just like... Look, I already did my video reaming Microsoft about the new controller. So that's my, it needs to be something really, really huge for me to like get out the pitchfork and being like, down with Microsoft, screw you guys. So this is probably just, what happens. It's an error. I mean, I don't know who's at fault. Probably the third-party vendor. I mean, either way, it's kind of shitty it happened. I expect the best from Microsoft, so it is kind of shocking it happened, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Microsoft being one of the biggest companies in the world, I thought maybe they'd have that down on lock. But I'm sure they'll make it right by everybody, They always do. I mean, hell, what do they give? Everybody like $10 for the people who downloaded Fallout 4 because it was free for those like 2 hours.
Yeah, they didn't need to do that at all. I mean, they could have gotten away with just saying, "Oh, sorry, it was an error." But they didn't have to give everyone $10.
Yeah.
So... I mean, how much probably was that? Was probably tens of thousands of dollars they gave away there just for an accident. So
yeah, well, and I already owned the game, so I downloaded the season pass, and I got my money. But then I spent the money on a product at Xbox, because you can only spend the money Xbox gives you on their own store. So smart thinking there. But anyways, that's the whole FanFest stuff. So anybody out there listening, make sure you go and follow like Money Rumble and all those guys. So you can know like when the next thing is. I think they said they're going to make it like they're probably not. I can't imagine it being soon because people took off work to be able to try to get code. So I don't think it'll be like, oh, by the way, it'll be tomorrow. They'll probably give everybody proper notice so you can kind of like, if you needed to take off work or whatever, so you can do it. Try to get it because only 500 people can go. So, yeah. But anyways, before we start talking about some of the Scorpio stuff, I want to talk about specifically the marketing, but this will tie into that. I wanted to get your thoughts on the Star Wars Battlefront 2 stuff.
I think Star Wars Battlefront 2 is going to be the biggest game of the year, even if it's not a particularly good game, just because the hype is going to be ridiculous when it comes to because it's piggybacking off the movie. It's just no way anything's going to compete with this year. I would say. I think it's going to completely slay.
You don't think any
for sales?
Really? You think it's going to just slate everything, even Destiny and Red Dead and Call of Duty?
I think it's going to crush Red Dead and it's going to crush Destiny. Call of Duty, I don't know, because they are doing the whole World War II thing now. But I put money down that Battlefront 2 is going to crush everything because I kind of feel like there's still a lot of hype from Battlefield 1 going into this, and Battlefield 1 was like the ultimate Battlefield game, and it really felt like DICE had listened to the fans here. So if DICE has listened to the fans on Battlefront 2, and they nail everything that was wrong with the first game, if they nail all of those problems, then yeah, I think Battlefront's going to crush everything. Because don't forget, like,
wow,
people who don't typically play games are going to play Battlefront. Because the story's canon. So like if you want to find out what happens in the Star Wars story, you have to buy that game. So you think this game's gonna wipe the floor with Destiny 2, it's gonna wipe the floor with Red Dead, and it's gonna wipe the floor with COD? Yeah.
That's a bold prediction. That's a really, really bold prediction.
Not COD. I'm not saying COD, but I'm saying Destiny and Red Dead. Yeah.
See, if I had to like rank the those 4 games as like sales potential, I would put Star Wars Battlefront 2 at the bottom.
Really?
Yeah.
Considering there's a new movie this year, come on.
There is a new movie, but there was a new movie 2 years ago, and Star Wars Battlefront wasn't number 1. Destiny 2 sequel's, I think, way more hyped up, and people have been waiting for this for a long time. Plus, it comes out in September, so. It has a lot more time to say. Same thing with this is Red Dead 2 as well, Jez. Red Dead 2.
These are all for gamers, They're all for gamers. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is going to be for Star Wars fans, of which there are probably more than gamers. So like they're covering all their bases with Battlefront 2. They're going to cover hardcore gamers with the multiplayer mode. They're going to cover casuals and Star Wars fans with the single player mode. They got the proper space battles in there for the hardcore Battlefront fans. They're covering all their bases. There are 3 developers working on this game, and even though like I'm not saying this as a Battlefront fan because I didn't play the originals and I didn't think the first game when was it 2013 2015 2015 I didn't think the 2015 game was that good, but I just because of the movie and because of the hype from Battlefield 1. I think if they get the messaging right and they market it properly and say, look, you get a new Star Wars story if you play this game, an official Star Wars story, and it's a prequel to The Force Awakens, and the only way to experience this prequel is to buy this game. That's why I think it's gonna topple everything, because it's gonna rope in people who don't usually buy games. It's gonna rope in people who don't usually buy consoles. I think Battlefront 2 is gonna be a system seller as well, especially for Scorpio.
Well, so okay. All right. Well, we'll get in the marketing thing in a minute, but do you care about the single player at all? Because I think it's interesting that they're going with the you're playing as the bad guy. But
I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I'm really hyped for the single player. Yeah, and also huge Empire fan. Screw the Republic.
All right. So what I thought was the biggest news coming out of this thing was the no season pass.
That shows
considering DICE.
That shows that list.
You think so? You think this is maybe DICE and EA changing their ways with that stuff? Because
not
Battlefield
necessarily. I
One's
think and what this is more about is this is more about fragmenting the player base, because Battlefront One got so fragmented from the DLC. Like you could never find anyone playing the DLC in Battlefront, the original Battlefront. So they've taken that out so that the player base doesn't get fragmented. They'll make up the money with they'll either do something like Battlefront Premium, where you get the new maps early, or they'll do like microtransactions where you get like new guns or something, like in Infinite Warfare or something. They'll do something scummy to make up for it, but it'll be something scummy that nobody really notices or cares about. Probably. I don't trust the EA to not be scummy. I mean, I hope they're not going to be scummy, but come on, EA.
Well, right, well, the reason I ask is because DICE does their. It seems a lot of games are at least moving away from the season pass model. Like Overwatch. Like if you look at the games that are really successful multiplayer wise, they're ones that are basically don't have a season pass. Overwatch, Rainbow Six Siege, Halo 5, all those type of that model. And if I remember reading when Battlefield 1, when their premium DLC dropped, like the user base playing the game dropped. There was more people playing Black Ops 2 on the 360 than there were playing all the versions of Battlefield 1 combined. Because
well, yeah, that's why I'm not saying like Battlefront's going to beat Call of Duty, because Call of Duty is a force unto itself, man. And it's people who there are people out there who only play Call of Duty, and that's the kind of person who drives Call of Duty to sales success every single year. It doesn't matter how good the games are. I mean, it's starting to matter because Infinite Warfare didn't sell as well, and and they really screwed fans over with that bundling Modern Warfare Remastered with Infinite Warfare, the game nobody asked for, and fans are starting to notice, and I think Call of Duty is losing steam, but it's still a force to be reckoned with because of that. The kind of person who will go and play Black Ops 2 again, I haven't gone back to playing that peer-to-peer, terrible. I can't stand the service.
Well, I'm one of the few peoples out there who actually play Call of Duty for the campaigns. I don't care about the multiplayer, but I'm a different type of gamer.
Weird.
It is weird. I am weird. I play. Do you play Inverted? Because last night I was Inverted. Last night I was told I was wrong and I was an abomination for playing inverted controls.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, I don't know what the chat thinks, but
what?
Does the chat think Rand's
chat? I need to know this. I play inverted. Jez plays normal for the access on the right stick for look. Let us know what you. I want to know. I want to know how many people in chat. I look when people say that I play wrong because I play inverted, but yet I can beat every single one of those people who say that in a game. I'm like, what's wrong with you then? Is normal not good enough to beat my inverted?
I mean, there's nothing technically wrong with it. It's just emotionally wrong,
Emotion, dude, no way. Normal feels so wrong. It feels like I remember playing when my brother, when we used to live together, and he played normal and I played inverted. And I remember when I would take over the controls and start playing, I was like, how do you play like this? It's wrong. It is wrong, Jez, that you play like that.
How did you end up like this? Like, what childhood trauma caused you to play inverted?
I don't know. I'm just inverted, dude. I honestly don't know. I guess it's just the way I learned how to play. I guess because it feels incredibly natural.
It's kind of like people used to laugh at me because I play World of Warcraft using the number pad and the arrow keys instead of using WASD. So. Yeah,
look at this. We got people saying inverted is an abomination. Rand is talking about controllers, the very controllers he complained about. Inverted is the only way I can play. I mean, there's people in here. It seems pretty split. Like some people are normal, some people are. Oh, what? Someone says I'm cutting you off, Jez. Am I cutting you off?
I don't think. No, I don't feel cut off.
We don't cut each other off. We're buddies.
Yeah, It's all good. It's all good. I'm just like, trying to manage a energy crisis right now in City Skylines. So
Yeah, Jez's mind is somewhere else.
I can do both at the same time. I can multitask. Trust me.
Am I left-handed? I am right-handed, the way God intended it. Ooh. Anyway, so the big thing with Star Wars Battlefront 2, a lot of people are,
You're eating your soft serve with your left hand, though. Sorry.
That is true. I am. I think that might be a graphic god type thing. Oh, and speaking of soft serve, I have my custom gamer pick on Xbox One. You jelly? You jelly, bro?
Oh, I haven't got a USB stick. That's why I haven't
Well, they
got
just
one.
update. You can do it in the Windows 10 beta right now.
Oh, finally, brilliant. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
sort that out at some point, I think.
Custom gamer picks on Xbox One, people. I'm sure you're all excited to see more dicks than you ever really wanted to see.
Has there actually been any yet? I don't think there has.
I don't. Not that I've seen. I'm sure somebody's probably tried to get by. Trying to submit one of those or something like that. Yeah. But the big thing. Okay, so the big thing with Star Wars Battlefront, I'm excited for it. Jez is excited for it. Jez thinks it's going to destroy every game out this year. Hey,
except for COD.
That's except for COD. That's a bold move. I applaud you for that. It's a bold move. But the bigger issue here, and I'm going to tie this into the Xbox Scorpio marketing, because as we all know, marketing is extremely important, is that Sony now has all 4 of the biggest games of the year wrapped up in their marketing deals. Do you agree with that, Jez? Do you agree that Star Wars Battlefront 2, Red Dead 2, Destiny 2, and Call of Duty are the 4 biggest games of the year?
Yes, easily, yeah.
So do you think Microsoft has a problem?
Yeah, I do. I do think it's a problem that I think it's a huge problem, actually, and it's kind of weird that this has happened. It's like, on the one hand, I'm wondering, how much money is Sony paying for this? Is Microsoft just letting them get away with it? Or are they actually just spending ridiculous money on this? And if so, is that just going to hurt them in the long run, where it's like, okay, they've blown their wad to screw over Scorpio this year, but does that mean they're going to have like no R&D for future games now? Are they going to be sparse next year and stuff like that? It's very strange how Microsoft has let them rack up every single major title this year. It is very strange. So, and I do think it's a big deal. I do think it's the only real thing that Sony could do, I guess, to fight Scorpio, because let's face it, Scorpio destroys the PS4 Pro. Objectively, I mean, you can't really argue that point at all, I think, at this point. But it's always going to come down to the games, and also the people who aren't really into researching stuff. So the kind of people who buy Battlefront 2 just because they're Star Wars fans, they're the kind of people who will think Battlefront 2 is exclusive to PlayStation 4 because of the marketing. So it's those sorts of, they're not sort of, I don't want to say casual gamers, but they're not really active in informing themselves on what's exclusive and what isn't. And that's what Sony are banking on when they take these deals, is that so people think they're exclusive. I remember, I used to work in a school, right, when Destiny came out. And, so there's students and teenagers and stuff like that. And, everyone, I was the Microsoft guy, I was the Xbox guy, and I was the IT technician. So, everyone knew I was a gamer and whatever. And teenagers used to say to me that Destiny was exclusive. And I'd be like, no, it's on Xbox. And they're like, no, it's exclusive. It's exclusive to PlayStation, And they think that because of the marketing. And it's a lot of people are going to think that Destiny 2 is exclusive because of the marketing and the other games. So I do think it's a big problem. But, however, I don't think these marketing deals, not all marketing deals are the same, right? So I leaked a while ago that Battlefront 2 would be showcased on Scorpio in 4K. Now, the source of that leak also told me about 4K game DVR, which was true. They also told me, what else? Basically, everything that Eurogamer said that we leaked turned out to be true. And this person also said that Battlefront 2 would be 4K on Scorpio, along with Red Dead Redemption 2 and a bunch of other games.
And
So
COD, right? COD was on that
yeah,
list too.
and COD, Call of Duty 2017. That's all it said. But not only that these games will be 4K on Scorpio, but they were part of a specification for marketing. So either Microsoft were just like, you know what, we don't have deals with these games, but can you put like marketing together for these games just so we can see what you do with it, or that the deals aren't as exclusive as you'd think. Maybe they just have PlayStation on. Maybe they just have PlayStation on the trailers, but in reality, Microsoft is still able to advertise Destiny 2 for Scorpio. Not Destiny 2, sorry. Battlefront and Red Dead Redemption 2 for Scorpio, because those are the games that are in my league. There was no mention of Destiny 2 whatsoever, so I expect Destiny 2 is completely locked
Oh
out.
yeah, it'll be like last time where Microsoft can't even mention it. And remember they tried doing the ad with the fragrance, but then they couldn't even do that.
Yeah,
Um,
that was hilarious. That was so
yeah.
funny. But
Um,
but yeah, I think Battlefront, and I think Microsoft will be able to say, look, we've got Red Dead Redemption 2 and it's 4K on Scorpio. I do think they'll be able to say that. But in all the trailers that Red Dead put out, it'll have PlayStation on it. So I don't think it's as pervasive as the Destiny marketing deal. But I do think it's a problem, you know. And Microsoft is it's gonna cause them issues, I think.
yeah. Look, marketing. Okay, the problem is Microsoft needs to show off why you need a Scorpio, and you need to like explain the differences and like you know what a 1080p image is versus 4K and all the different reasons Scorpio makes your games better. And it would have been in their best interest to align with Destiny 2 or align with Star Wars Battlefront 2 or COD to kind of advertise the game and then show why you need Scorpio. So I kind of agree with you. I think it's a huge, for lack of a better term, I think Sony's cock blocking them to a certain degree, right? Um, Sony knows that Scorpio is a better piece of machine, so what they're doing is using their market share advantage to basically kind of kowtow the publishers in line, being like, "Listen, market with
Oh
us,
yeah.
because we have more users than they do, and money talks. I mean, let's just be
But
honest."
this is the thing, though. I mean, we always hear about market share, right? And I do know from speaking to people in the industry at both Ubisoft and EA, I've got contacts in those companies, and both of them have said similar things to me that the market share is perceived as an issue, you know. So the fact that Sony has double the market share of Xbox is definitely helping them secure these deals. But at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, I do think it's overstated um, because there is the whole the attach rate thing, right? So like when in certain games you can see how many people are online in both games, and usually it's pretty even, you know, worldwide for some of these games like Battlefield 1. Stats were fairly even, you know, and a lot of these
Mm-hmm.
shooters have fairly even sales. As maybe because people just associate Xbox with shooters or something. I don't know.
It was the shooter box, if you remember.
Yeah, it
That's what
was a
people
shooter
called the
box.
Xbox.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So I do think that market share is helping Sony to some degree, but I do think it's also I don't know. It's also maybe overplayed a little, at least in people's minds.
I mean, okay, Grant, I'll give you that point, but at the end of the day, Microsoft can't advertise with those four games, the four biggest games. So they're stuck with, look, Shadow of War, I mentioned this before, probably going to be a great game, but how does that game sell Scorpio when it comes out in August? You know,
Yeah,
that that
that's
that
a
game's
problem
gonna
too.
that game's gonna be out of people's consciousness come October or late October, early November when that system
Yeah,
comes out. And sure, there are games we don't know about. Uh, New Assassin's Creed. Who are they going to market with? Is it going to be Sony? Is it going to be Microsoft? If I'm Ubisoft and I want a return to my franchise to what it formerly is, I'd probably want to market with Sony.
yeah.
Um, but I mean, who knows what, you know, shit. the rumored Splinter Cell. I mean, that's always kind of been a Microsoft branded type game, but there's none of those games, at least that are announced yet, that are on the level of anywhere near those 4 games. So I think Microsoft is really in a tough position to try and market and show off Scorpio uh, in a positive way and show off the benefits of having it when Sony's basically saying, fuck you, buddy. We're cock blocking you. You
Yeah.
know, like we have Destiny 2, Red Dead, all these other games, and you got nothing. I think they're hoping that people don't even really know Scorpio comes out, I guess. You know, like
I
uh,
mean, it depends on the marketing blitz. I mean, Microsoft isn't the best at marketing in the world in general, but the Xbox has generally been better at it than you know historically Surface or especially Windows. Surface has gone a lot better now, but Xbox has also generally been a lot better at marketing than previous years. However, that said, I do think that marketing these days is just incredibly hard because people don't really get all their information from one source anymore. People don't watch TV as much as they used to, especially not gamers. And, then it's kind of like you're relying on the press and social media for marketing and stuff. And if the press are not really that interested in Scorpio because it doesn't have the games,
hello, are you Jason Schreier? Are you Ben Kuchera? Should I just change this to Random Jason Schreier talk Xbox and stuff?
Well, I'm not saying there's a media bias, but I am saying that there's a bias towards publishing content where the user base is, and the user base is on PlayStation right now. So if the media don't help Microsoft push this, and social media isn't buzzing like it is, I think Microsoft could have difficulty getting the word out when they don't have these big games to share it along with, like not having Call of Duty, and not having Destiny, not having Red Dead, not having Battlefront 2. I think they really should have got. I would have loved it if they got
Dude,
Battlefront 2, but no.
I remember having conversations last year. Like, oh, these 4 games, like when Red Dead 2 was announced for this year, it was like, oh, you're gonna have COD, Red Dead, Destiny 2, and Star Wars Battlefront 2, and everybody was like, there's no way Sony can get all 4, right? There's no way Microsoft has to get at least one of them.
I'm shocked that I got
right?
all 4. I'm really shocked.
Yeah. I'm shocked too. Now, let me ask you this question. Do you think Microsoft, because I get to ask this question a lot, and I'll give my opinion, but I wanted to ask you, do you think Microsoft tried to get marketing rights for any of those games?
I don't know, man. I want to think yes, because I want to think that they realize how important they are. But at the same time, I'm wondering if they are spending their money elsewhere instead. I'm wondering if Phil Spencer's more thinking of forget trying to go for market share because we've already lost that battle. Let's just make Xbox the best place to play for our current fans. Maybe they're just like, maybe they're just doing like what they do with Surface, because Surface is never going to sell as much as a HP or a Dell or whatever, but it's a healthy business and it's $1 billion business, and that's because they focus on catering to their existing user base. So I'm wondering if Microsoft have just resigned themselves to never winning market share back again, and they're just focusing on making it the best experience possible, and that means not blowing their money on pointless marketing deals. So I don't know.
See, I thought they could have gotten Star Wars Battlefront 2 for one simple reason. Microsoft and EA are tight. They had the rights for Battlefield 1 last year. It seemed like Microsoft and EA, out of those other publishers, have a good relationship. Like, Activision, they're just strictly out there to sell as many copies as possible. They're going to go to the market leader, Call of Duty, Destiny. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You knew it was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Rockstar does whatever Rockstar wants.
DICE were in the damn trailer for Scorpio, man.
I know, but here's the thing.
That's why I think that the marketing deal for Battlefront's not as aggressive as the Destiny one.
Well, so the reason I thought they could get the Battlefront thing was because of their relationship with EA, but then I found out that Sony actually has a deal directly with Disney for Star Wars, not with EA. So Sony just went right to Disney. since Disney licenses that out to EA. Now, I mean, I don't know if that's true. I think it is though, because I trust people who tell me these things.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, see, Sony has other assets that can get involved with. So like Sony could have leveraged like movie properties and stuff to get that deal pushed through. And Microsoft doesn't really have anything to offer Disney beyond money. Whereas Sony has like, movie studios and IP and stuff like that. So
Right.
I don't know. There's all sorts of ways that Sony could be wrangling these deals, not necessarily just with cold hard cash. There's like other factors to it, but it does seem like Microsoft at least are working with Dice to get the word out about Scorpio, at least on the developer side of things. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear like, how like the Gamer Sutra did that developer article for Scorpio. I wouldn't be
Hmm.
surprised if we got something similar, but focused specifically on Dice, maybe, because Dice are definitely sort of they're involved with Scorpio directly. They have to be because they're in the trailer. So like either they've been
Yeah.
consulting Microsoft and Dice developers were previously they were pretty vocal about the Xbox One's ES RAM and don't remember some like Dice developers were trashing the Xbox One before, saying it was underpowered and stuff. So clearly Dice are like one of these developers who Microsoft were keen to get back on board with Xbox, and also because Frostbite is pretty intensive as an engine.
It is. It is
So
very.
making a console that supports EA's flagship engine is probably very important as well. So
Hey, just wanted to make mention. 200 people watching us, Jazz. Me and you. Just
whoa,
that's pretty good.
my
Thanks for
count is fucking 74. You know what? Because everyone's so nice and lovely, I'm going to give away a key in chat.
Oh, Jazz is gonna give away a key.
Give away a key.
Yeah, who'd thought anybody would care about what me and you think about stuff? But thanks,
I don't even
guys.
care what I think. So
Yeah, thanks, guys, for listening to two idiots ramble on about things. But so the reason I want to talk about the marketing thing is because I'm interested in kind of thinking about how Microsoft is going to market the Scorpio at the end of the year. You know, in a perfect world, they have marketing rights for all the four biggest games, and that basically sells the system. Sony cock-blocked them. They can't do that. Obviously, Microsoft can market their own games, right? They State of Decay 2, Crackdown 3, Sea of Thieves, although I have a feeling Sea of Thieves isn't going to come out this year. So
I don't think Sea of Thieves is coming out this year. I was very surprised.
I don't know. I'm starting to really think it's going to miss, which is actually probably pretty good. And I might have a video up about that sometime soon. But if you're Aaron Greenberg and you got to go to Phil and give him your marketing strategy for Scorpio, what do, knowing that you don't have the biggest games? You maybe your flagship exclusive might be, sailing seas to next year, 2018. So you're stuck with State of Decay 2 and
That was
Crackdown
good.
3.
That was good.
Right. I know. What how are you going to market this? What are you going to do? Are you going to rely on word of mouth? Are you going to rely on media like coming around and being like, hey, Scorpio's pretty awesome? Are you going to rely on people's insistence that graphics sells games and usually people buy games the best, they want to buy a system that has the best versions of the games to play? Like what are you going to do? Like how would you approach that?
I honestly don't know. I like usually I've got like, as someone who works in the field of selling your opinion, this is something I just don't. I'm just stumped. Like seeing Xbox get, seeing Sony get all those marketing deals in place. I am absolutely stumped as to how they can market this console without just sort of brute force TV, TV billboards in the old school sort of way. But the thing is that this is creating another problem because, I saw an article the other day in Polygon that was actually praising the Xbox One, and Polygon said Scorpio's proposition is simple. And the article was basically just saying that, instead of this complex media box, complex media box, blah blah blah. What Microsoft have done is they've made a super powerful box, which is very very easy
Oh
to
yeah,
understand.
I
No,
made a
but
video about that exact thing because
yeah,
I
I haven't watched the
literally
video.
felt the same way. Because
No,
if
this is the thing, man. I disagree. I
you
disagree that
disagree, you
I
disagree.
don't. Yeah,
Are
I
you telling
disagree.
me I'm wrong? Are you telling me I'm wrong?
I'm not telling you
Oh my
wrong, but I'm saying I don't think it's as simple as people think it is to consumers. Because look, the Wii U, man, was called the Wii U, and people said the Wii U failed in part because of the name. They thought it was just sort of like an incremental upgrade. They didn't think it was worth buying, blah blah blah, and all that sort of stuff. Now, I think Xbox, and we know that PlayStation 4 Pro isn't selling that well, or at least it wasn't when I leaked NPD figures at the start of the year, and that was over Christmas and Black Friday, right?
okay.
So I think that it's I think these incremental upgrades are more complex than people think because to people who aren't gamers and people who are gamers but aren't in tune, people who aren't watching this podcast, people who are just like, they're watching Britain's Got Talent or, one of those kind of shows, and they just play Call of Duty and FIFA every year and nothing else. Now, those kind of people who are very, very sort of casual, off and on gamers who don't really follow what's going on, they'll say it's called Xbox One 4K or Xbox One Pro or something, Xbox One something or other. They'll just think, oh, that's just a little upgrade. I don't see why I need it. It's in the past when there's been a new console, it's the exclusive that sells it. So like I saw the attach rate for Zelda is
It's
higher than the
ridiculous.
sales of the game.
It's ridiculous. It was like over 100%. But they
Yeah,
explained because they thought people bought the limited editions and then
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
even
yeah,
open them
yeah.
and bought another version or
Well,
whatever.
still, the point there is that well, it's not exclusive. It's also on the Wii U, but it might as well have been exclusive.
It
It was
sold
a
a lot on
game.
the Wii U. It sold like almost 500,000 just on the Wii U.
Well, there you go. But the point is that they sold the Switch on the back of a game. Now,
Hmm.
PS4 Pro didn't really have a game to sell on top of, and which is why I think it didn't sell that well. And also, the Scorpio is not going to have like a sort of killer app going in. I don't think.
But you
So,
don't think the killer app is native 4K, 4K texture ass shits, best versions of all? I mean, I'm assuming that's what
well, that's
Microsoft
the
thinks
thing.
the killer app
I
is.
I think that's a killer app, and gamers think that's a killer app. Xbox fans think that's a killer app. But how do you explain that to a consumer? You can't show a 4K game on a billboard. You can't show a 4K game even in a YouTube trailer because most people just have it set to 720p or 1080p and they're not watching a YouTube trailer on a 4K monitor anyway.
Jazz,
So
one second. I saw this comment from Indigo, and this person says, "I'm here because Jazz sounds cute as fuck, and games are cool." Sounds like you got a fan, bro. Go ahead, go ahead. I just wanted to say it. I just wanted to
I do sound
just.
cute as fuck, to be fair. I don't
He's
disagree with
taken. He's taken. Okay.
that. Well, I like compliments though. Keep them coming. I need the self esteem. I'm in short supply, but but what
You don't
basically
okay,
what
but you don't think Crackdown 3 with like the whole destruction angle where it's completely destructible could possibly be a killer app?
well I do think it's possible, but that's what I'm saying. That's what they need. They need a game. The Scorpio itself isn't enough to sway the masses. I mean, everyone here, every Xbox fan here, would have already pre-ordered Scorpio. You're preaching to the choir with Scorpio's core features. You're basically preaching to the choir and giving Xbox fans more of what they already want and what they already like. But the problem is, it's those fans who aren't brand loyal and don't really follow the news. They don't know what super sampling is. They probably don't even know what 4K is. They probably don't even know whether they need a 4K TV or not. And 4K maybe not isn't even on their radar, and maybe they don't even know what it is. And that's when you need a game to sell your console with. And Microsoft's not going to have that. So I think it's complicated, and if but like you say, Crackdown could be that game, if it's if the destruction's ridiculous, and it uses the power of the cloud on Xbox One to power that destruction,
We haven't heard
maybe you
them
won't need
say
it on
the
Scorpio.
power. We haven't heard them say the power of the cloud in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's still going to be cloud powered, but um, but yeah, that
You,
Scorpio needs something a little bit more tangible than resolution and graphics. And
right.
but circling back around to your original question of how should they market it, I honestly don't know. I don't know what I would do if in their shoes. I'd need to think about that more, but I'm sure they've got a comprehensive plan. Well, obviously
Well,
they've got
yeah,
a
yeah.
comprehensive plan in
I'm
place,
sure
but
they do.
I
You'll
don't
see
know.
the regular TV ads, right? And what I think I think Microsoft is going to really double down on streamers and YouTubers. Like I would
Well, yeah,
expect.
there's that. That'd be smart actually, because they're the people who they're trusted, and and if you're giving them a free console, you get them on the side. I think like Microsoft, Major Nelson took a console around to Boogie's house, right? That
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
that YouTuber guy. So like that was just pure marketing. And
Well, no, I'm assuming all those dudes will get Scorpios probably really early or earlier than normal.
yeah.
Talk about how these games look great, and you know what? I would not be surprised if Microsoft partners with the 4K TV provider and gives these YouTubers and streamers a 4K TV to go along with their Scorpio.
Oh my God, that'd just be so
Don't. I'm just
sickeningly
saying, don't be
awful.
surprised because in the era of marketing,
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Right. Sorry to interrupt you, but can you imagine? Can you imagine? Angry Joe, right? Angry Joe who hated there is no Xbox. He makes a video with this new 4K TV and Scorpio, and he's like, "Oh, Microsoft are cool again, guys," just because he's got a 4K TV. That's
well,
probably how
you
it's
gotta
going
go
to be.
you gotta go different type of marketing because the big games are covered. Who knows what other games are coming out? I saw someone asking. He asked you in chat when you thought State of Decay 2 was coming out, and if it was a launch title. I've heard that it was coming out before Scorpio, um, like August, September ish. I don't think it's going to be a launch title. Um, so it's like, well, what? And especially if Sea of Thieves, if it's delayed till next year, like I think it is. I mean, your killer app is basically the fact that it plays all the games best. But how to get that message across to the normal consumer or the one looking to pick it up a system? Maybe Microsoft's not really worried about that right now,
Mm.
because they still are expecting the Xbox One S to sell just as well. And maybe they don't care if you buy a Scorpio as long as you're still building content and everything. Especially I guess we'll know more about what their strategy is when we know the price. If they price it at $400, I think they're looking to really give Sony a run for their money because that would be very, very, very competitively priced with the Pro. But if they price it at $5, then they're probably just looking to make money on their make more on their profit margins. Probably not really interested in pushing a lot of volume of Scorpio, just letting them do the Xbox One S and maybe a $200 price point on that do the work. Considering they're both the same family and they're both going to play the same game, so they're just going to rely on software sales, And then maybe next year you do more of different time of marketing deals, get the price down on it, and go from there. But you mentioned earlier, and I wanted to bring this up, about how you need a game to launch. Like you think the Nintendo Switch sold extremely well because of Zelda,
I definitely did.
right?
I mean, no one bought that thing to have rooftop parties with. Let's
Right.
be
No, I mean,
honest.
I kind of agree with you. I think I agree with you. I mean, the fact that Zelda sold, there's a reason why Zelda was launched with the console and Mario's coming this holiday. Because Zelda is a game for the fanboys, and those fanboys will eat that game up. And Mario's more for demographic, like a broader demographic. But I have a
Yeah,
thing here, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. The top 20 best-selling video games of 2016. And this is going to go into the exclusive thing, which we were kind of just talking about there, right? So the top 20 best-selling video games of 2016 by units sold. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, right? So we got
really?
Infinite Warfare number 1, Battlefield 1 number 2, Grand Theft Auto 5 number 3, Madden NFL 17 is number 4, number 5 is NBA 2K17, number 6 is The Division, number 7 is Overwatch, number 8 is Minecraft, number 9 is Black Ops 3. So a game from fucking 2015 is the 9th best-selling game of 2016. FIFA 17 is number 10. Pokemon Sun is 11. Pokemon Moon is 12. Elder Scrolls Skyrim is number 13. Star Wars Battlefront is number 14. Final Fantasy 15 is 15. Titanfall 2 is 16. NBA 2K16, a game from 2015, is number 17. Number 18 is Rainbow Six Siege. Number 19 is Far Cry Primal. And number 20 is Dark Souls 3. Now,
wow, I didn't know
May I
Far
ask
Cry
you-
Primal did that well.
let me ask you, do you see any exclusives in that list besides Pokemon Sun and Moon? Do you see any Uncharted? Do you see any Halos or Gears? Do you see any exclusives at all? Or is it, I mean,
Yeah. You're right. You know, it's exclusives aren't for like the masses, you know, and they're never going to sell as well as a multiplat at the end of the day. I mean, that's sheer mathematics. But exclusives do sell consoles, you know.
but there was a time.
I saw like loads of hardcore Xbox fanboys who were like, for years, PlayStation sucks, PlayStation sucks, PlayStation sucks. I saw them run out in droves to buy a PlayStation 4 when Horizon Zero Dawn came out. You know.
Yeah, yeah, true. But I mean, there was a time when Halo outsold these multiplats by itself. Halo was that big. And yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn sells 2.7 million 2 weeks. It's great for a new IP. I'm sure Microsoft would love any of their games to basically sell 2.7 million at all, period. That's a little bit harsh, but
times have changed, you know. It's the Halo format has kind of gotten tired, and it's you know, Halo's still a great game. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like there are so many shooters now. There's so much competition, and Halo hasn't really innovated. You know.
Well, right here, best-selling video games supergenres of 2016 by units sold, 27.5% were shooters.
Yeah, it's the
22.5% action. Yeah.
How did Doom do? Was Doom in the top 20?
Nope, Doom was not in the top 20.
See, that's a surprise for me, actually.
Yeah, but here, okay, so this kind of went to your other point about, we were talking about why people buy stuff and why maybe some people are, you know, the idea that Microsoft built this because they want that power crown back. You know, the idea that people will go out and buy a system to play the best versions of games. Like, one of the reasons why the PS4 is winning is because it was $100 cheaper and it played every game better, right? That is a strong argument to make. You know, you don't even need to bring the games argument into the thing, right? It's like literally PlayStation 4. It runs games better, even though, and considering PS4 and Xbox share virtually the same library, it runs games better. It's $100 cheaper. For those people not invested in the Xbox ecosystem, that was an easy choice.
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay, fine, PlayStation, save me $100 and it's better, right? Now, Microsoft is trying to learn from that mistake. Now they got Scorpio. And one of the things they learned this year, they learned this because they went to Digital fucking Foundry to reveal the specs, because they got killed on every single multi-platform game that came out that ran worse on Xbox, because Digital Foundry was out there telling people it ran worse, right? So they made sure that they get the news out there. They go to Digital Foundry, and they want people to know that every game going forward, at least for the next couple years, will be best on Xbox One. Either like running way better, running just a little bit better, or just the same as PS4 Pro, right?
Yeah.
Now, in this thing where they released today, the ESA NPD thing, in this article where it says 74% of U.S. game market was digital in 2016, right? Which we'll talk about that in a second. But the thing I want to highlight here, which goes to my point, is factors influencing decisions to purchase video games, right? What do you think is the number one factor in a person's decision to buy a video game?
Good question. I don't know. Graphics?
Number one, 67% quality of the graphics.
Wow. I'm
And this isn't.
The thing is this actually? The thing is, what people say and what people do are different. You know, people might say, "See, the first."
Oh, you mean the
thing
people who say they wouldn't vote for Donald Trump and then voted for Donald Trump, and now we have Donald Trump as president?
Let's not get political, right?
I know.
But the thing is, when I said the number one thing people would buy a game for, that was because it was the first thing that came into my head. And that's probably if that was a questionnaire, I expect that's for a lot of people, because beyond graphics, it's a complicated question. So I honestly, I doubt the validity of that data, frankly.
I mean, you doubt the validity of MPD. I mean, they all
Yeah.
use it.
I doubt that. I doubt that there needs to be a control question there. The first thing that comes into people's heads when they ask that question, as I just exposed, was graphics. I don't think graphics are really the first thing people buy a game for.
But I mean, you also do recall the surveys from this past Black Friday when people were polled on why they purchased what they did, and the number one reason was because why they bought a PlayStation, and there was a bunch of reasons and why they bought an Xbox, and the number one reason people bought a PlayStation was because of resolution. You remember those things?
I don't remember that, but
yeah, I mean I remember it because I remember everything. Obviously, this report is it's. I mean, just this part here is 14. It's on the 14th page. This whole thing is, given to, all the subscribers, all their, people that use MPD and stuff. But so,
hey, are you supposed to have that document?
I don't know. Probably not. But I mean, it's like I said, it's on the gaff. It's been all over the place. I just thought it was an interesting topic to talk about, because factors influencing decisions versus video games: 67% for quality of graphics, price is at 65%, interesting story premise 59%, online gameplay capability 50%, product is a continuation of a favorite game series 48%, product is familiar to me from past experiences based on a classic toy, video game, video arcade game, etc. 47%. So when you see all these polls out there that say, hey, I want the game because of the quality of the graphics, when you see reasons people bought a PlayStation last year in those surveys, and the reason is resolution, you begin to understand why Microsoft built Scorpio in the first place, right?
I mean, it completely makes sense on paper,
Just on paper. Uh-oh. Did I lose Jez again? Am I by myself? I think I might be.
No, can't you hear me?
Oh, well, I can hear you now. I didn't hear what you said before.
Oh. Well, I just said that, well, Microsoft tend to do everything just on paper, and sometimes, and Microsoft are an on-paper driven company now. They've got feedback for their feedback systems, Microsoft do right now. They've got the Windows Insider program, they've got the Xbox Insider program, they've got user voice for every single product they've got, and all they do is harvest data and listen to what people want, and they try and give people what they want. But it's not historically, it hasn't worked that way. It's like, I always think back to World of Warcraft, right? Now, people quit World of Warcraft, and when you quit World of Warcraft, there's a little poll, a little questionnaire. Why did you quit World of Warcraft? Why do you hate us? Basically, Blizzard asks. And one of the questions is, the game's too hard, or it takes too much time. So what Blizzard did was, they saw all the people complaining that World of Warcraft took too much time to play, and they made World of Warcraft really, really easy. They gave people what they asked for. But it comes back to, be careful what you wish for, because now World of Warcraft is so brain dead easy. Oh, well, it's not so much anymore. But for so long, World of Warcraft was so easy, so brain dead, one button easy, that it wasn't even a game anymore. And there was no sense of reward. There was no sense of progression anymore. And everyone quit. And World of Warcraft almost completely died, And it's only when they went back to being a little bit more difficult and having some difficulty in there, even as an option, that it started coming back to life again. Because sometimes people don't know what they want. So even though I'm not just saying that, I'm not saying that graphics is not important, because it is. It obviously is. And, when people, we know as Xbox fans that graphics are important, because that was always the argument, Xbox One has 720p or less for resolution. That was always the argument. But I think when we end up with Scorpio being the most powerful console ever made, I don't think having the resolution is by itself is enough to sell the system. I really don't. And I think that's the true dilemma that Microsoft are going to have here, is trying to explain the other benefits of the console when they don't have these marketing deals.
So
I don't want to sound negative, but I do
damn,
honestly not as simple
you just hate Xbox, Jazz. How dare you?
as nobody loves Xbox more than me.
How dare you say? How dare you say that?
What? Why? What's wrong with
I mean,
saying that?
I mean, look, I agree with you. Like, obviously, we don't know what's going to happen at the end of the year. We don't even know what Microsoft's internal projections are for how many they're going to sell, right? I mean, for all we know, they might not even produce that many, right? And yeah, it's going to be. Look, you're right. Are people going to switch mid-gen, dump PlayStation or dump Nintendo or what have you, or dump PC, and pick up a Scorpio because it will be the most powerful system for the next 2 years? Because PS5 is coming out 2-3 years and it'll be the most powerful, right? So are people going to stop mid-gen and be like, reverse course, I'm switching? Now, I imagine there will be people out there who will pick up the Scorpio outside of Xbox fans because they want the best console experience, right? They'll pick up Scorpio, they'll play all the big multi-platform games on it in 4K or whatever, way they can because it's the best way to play. I just don't think a lot of people will ditch. And I know because people brought this up and they mentioned, well, people switch from 360 and PS3 to the PS4 and Xbox One, but I always said, but that's because that's the beginning of a gen. That kind of always happens. There's always that kind of crossover. We've never had something like this in the middle of a gen where we're like mid-gen upgrades for the system.
I think like the real truth is, right. The real truth is that everyone who's currently invested in the Xbox ecosystem, they're going to be overjoyed, man. Scorpio is going to be amazing. If you're an Xbox fan right now, Scorpio is just going to be even better, and everything that you've enjoyed about Xbox One, you'll enjoy even more about Scorpio. But the discussion here is, it's not about Xbox winning. It's not about Xbox even being healthy, because Xbox will be healthy, and Xbox will be in healthy business, and it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. The argument is whether it can truly start to eat into Sony's market share. And does Microsoft even want to? I mean, obviously they want to, but do they expect to? And if they don't, then if they don't show that fire and that tenacity to try and win, then I think they could be they could start losing people.
You think they're gonna? I think the only way people.
I don't think basically just what I'm saying is resolution isn't enough. They've got to show that there's a roadmap for exclusive games in the works as well.
Well, I mean, I've always said that power doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Like, resolution is great. I mean, look, I've seen people flip flop this gen. I in the beginning, PlayStation 4 gamers was all about resolution. Why play in the 720p box, right? We've all saw that. And Xbox gamers were like, I want to play good exclusives. And at that time, they had more exclusives than PlayStation. Yeah. And the narrative shift now to Xbox gamers being like, it's all about native 4K and 4K texture assets and the best games and the best resolution and the best performance. While PlayStation gamers are saying, yeah, but who cares about any of that when you have all these games like God of War and it totally flip-flopped.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure they even realized they did it. I'm not even sure people realized that they flipped on that. And I'm over here just playing my games, just having a good time. Like, we talk about Scorpio because it's interesting and I like speculating just as much as the next guy. Hey, I'm the type of guy who's on the way to E3 press conference on my fucking phone looking at NeoGAF trying to find leaks for what I'm about to see at the press conference. I just like knowing things. I just like hearing about things. I like discussing things with people. Even though, like, at the end of the day, Scorpio, I'm going to get it if it's reasonably priced and I have the money.
Of course, you're getting it regardless. We're both.
I'm not going to be sent one. I mean, I'm a nobody. I'm barely, like, nobody cares what I think about stuff.
I'm not going to be sent one either.
You're going to be sent one, but your boss will take it probably.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened with the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I am proud of it, because I'm invested in the ecosystem now. I've got my 360 games. I've got hundreds and hundreds of games on Xbox One. There is nothing Sony could do to make me switch, and that's the thing. There are people who are on PlayStation who are like, "There's nothing that Microsoft can do to make me switch." But backwards compatibility is a great differentiator there, because sometimes people do get that itch. I want to play Mass Effect 2 again, or and it's cool that Mass Effect 2 runs better on Xbox One as well, and it'll run even more better on Scorpio. So that is a cool differentiator. But there is literally nothing Sony could do to make me switch right now. There's nothing they could do.
Look, I'd like the fact that Microsoft allows you to play some of your older games that you own, but I don't think that matters in 2017. Like, that would have been great in 2030. Like,
you're so right.
No, because this would have been a great feature. Listen, hold on, listen. Okay, people play 100. What? I think backwards compatibility would have been a bigger issue and a bigger win for Microsoft with the $100 extra on top of it if they offered this in 2013, because that would have been a huge differentiating factor between both consoles. It's like, hey, you could kept on playing your own games and this. In 2017, I'm not looking for a new way to play Bayonetta 1. I'm not looking for a new way to play Transformers War of Cybertron. I'm not looking for a new way to play Black Ops 2. I'm looking for a new games to play. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care about, and maybe I have a different perspective on this because I played literally every 360 game I ever wanted to play. But I'm not interested in revisiting the past. I'm interested in moving towards the future.
Already, that's why.
But look, there's 360 games that I haven't finished, I haven't played, that I bought that I haven't played, but I don't care. Those games are old and busted. I want new stuff. When I see people I understand why people get like, yeah, it's your library. You get excited for all these games that come out on 360 back and pat. Like, I'm happy for you, but like, I want new experiences. Like, I want Microsoft to wow me at E3 with all this new IP, not wow me with, hey, there's 50 more games in backwards compatibility. I just don't care about that. I don't know. And I'm sure there's people out there that probably agree with me. That they would rather see Microsoft focus, more on the new games experiences than a game experience back in 2005.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, there's a whole younger generation to consider who haven't played backwards compatible games. So the amount of people that you can potentially target with backwards compatible games has diminishing returns anyway.
Right.
But so it's not, but having backwards compatibility is not going to be that big of a deal forever. So,
well, okay,
right.
maybe I need to reiterate, because I see people saying this in chat. Like, how do you explain the success of the mini NES? People love old games, and people are saying, look, I get it. You guys love backwards compatibility. More power to you guys. I'm happy that you guys love the feature and that you can play your old games. Now, just remember, this is my opinion. For me, keep this in mind, for Randall Thor 19, backwards compatibility might as well not exist, because I will never use it, and it's a worthless feature to me. Let me remove one more time, to me. I can't be any more clear than that, can I?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you're wrong, but yeah.
Still, I'm wrong. God damn it.
But, yeah, I see where you're coming from, and I agree in some ways that it's not a huge deal, but at the same time, Black Ops 2, man, look at it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, a lot of people did that. Part of me is like, why are you guys so excited about Black Ops 2? Can't you get excited about something new like Sea of Thieves? Or I don't know. I wish there was that enthusiasm for ReCore, or that kind of enthusiasm for Quantum Break. You know what I mean? Like, where was the enthusiasm for those games?
But that's the thing. It's people who only care about COD wanting to play that. I mean,
I guess so. I guess I just want to play Quantum Break 2, Jazz. Is that too much to ask? Is that too much to ask?
Yeah, it is. It'll never happen. Deal with it.
God. But But I want those games, man.
I want that game too, but it's never going to happen, man. I mean, this is one of the other problems Microsoft's going to have to deal with, is winning back faith in their first party efforts. Because we talked about this, how everyone agrees Microsoft needs to bring the games. Everyone in the chat, I would hope that would agree Microsoft needs to bring the games. But now the problem with that is going to be, who's going to trust them about games? Beyond their hardcore fans, who's going to trust them? Because they've started to make a name for themselves as the company that cancels everything. And whether that's fair or not, and whether Phil was right to cancel those games or not, I'm not arguing that, because I don't have the full information. But it's a fact that people are going to be like, there's going to be a cloud hanging over any game that Microsoft announced. Any game that has a CGI teaser at E3, there's going to be a cloud hanging over it. And that's another problem they're going to deal with. There are a lot of problems with Scorpio. I mean, there's huge positives with Scorpio, but the issues that are sort of on the back of it are pretty big, and Microsoft are going to have to really answer some of these questions at E3, I think.
Jez, Knack 2 exists, and Rise 2 and Sunset Overdrive 2 and Quantum Break 2 do not. They don't.
Ugh.
Knack 2, Jez.
To be honest, do you want to know something right now? I don't even know what Knack is. I don't know what it is.
Good.
I know it's a PlayStation game.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows what it is. Anyways, yeah. If you guys have any questions for us, put them in the chat, because we'll be ending the show pretty soon, because I gotta get going to school. Gotta take a test.
What's your testing?
Principles of management. Trying to manage. Yeah, I'm your boss, Jez. Be your boss.
All you really need when it comes to principles of management, right, is you need to play City Skylines, because that'll just teach you everything you need to know. Of course. I could just go outside right now and build a whole city from what I've learned on this game.
Yeah, I got a question for you, Jez. You can answer it super short. Do you think Microsoft dedicates any time at their E3 conference to VR?
My guess is no, because I don't think Windows mixed reality is ready for prime time yet. I think we'll have what will happen is we'll probably get a special event in January next year, similar to the HoloLens event, where Microsoft has like a hardware demo, and it's going to be, I think VR is going to be more of a soft launch thing, kind of like HoloLens was, where it's like, look, this is what we can do. You know what? You can, if you've got Windows 10, the creators update, you can actually activate a Windows mixed reality right now and play around with an Xbox controller instead of a headset, just to see what it's like. And it's not ready. That's what I'm saying. It's not ready to go live, I don't think. So I don't think we're going to see VR at E3, and I think that would probably be wise, to be honest. Because VR,
nobody really cares about VR. Yeah.
I don't care. I couldn't possibly care less about VR. I'm just so unimpressed by it. Even when Microsoft's logo's on it, I still don't care about it. That's how little I care about VR.
Okay, we got a question from Endless Echo. How many copies going to Scorpio sales, developers, and market share care about Scorpio? How many? I think a lot of devs care greatly about market share. Greatly. Because they want
publishers as well. It's more publishers than devs even. It's all about the return on your investment. You invest 40 million in a game. You want to know that this console has a high potential to get you a return on your investment. And so market share is important. And Xbox One obviously has got a healthy market share, but it's not a, oh my god, mind-blowing, we need to have our game on this console market share, I mean, well, obviously it is, because it's one of the only consoles, but it's not like it's always going to be the second thought, It's always going to be like PlayStation first and then Xbox second, which is kind of like one of the reasons why Microsoft they've focused on what developers want with Scorpio,
Hmm.
But the thing is, they should probably be focusing on what publishers want, and all publishers really want is market share. So,
Right.
uh,
Well, Emil Van Dale says, "What if Microsoft buys Steam? What if all this cross-generation gamer pass and trade-ins for digital games are a sign that it will happen?"
that would never
Uh,
happen in a million years. Microsoft can't just buy Steam because Steam's like, uh,
Steve is. I want. Isn't Steam privately owned? Or
I
I don't Steam is on like. I don't think they're traded. I don't think they're publicly traded. I think it's a privately held company.
I don't know. I don't know, but I know for a fact that Microsoft couldn't buy them even if they wanted to.
Well, Gabe Newell, who you know started Valve and runs all that stuff, he used to work at Microsoft. He's one of
Yeah,
the Microsoft millionaires, as they call it.
yeah.
Um, no, I don't think they'll buy Steam.
And
I mean,
he hates Microsoft, so
I don't know if he hates Microsoft, but
yeah,
yeah,
he hates Microsoft. He does.
um, I don't think we'll see that happen at all.
Mm.
Steam's just too. See, this is the problem with the Windows 10 game stores. It's kind of like Beam and kind of like Twitch. Like
I tell you
Steam
something
is
right about Steam. Microsoft that Microsoft hates Steam. You know, they well, Phil doesn't hate Steam. Phil loves Steam. Phil's a gamer at the end of the day, blah blah blah. But Microsoft as an entity would prefer if Steam went away because Steam is one of the last things that's keeping Win32 alive. And Win32 as the development architecture for software, you know. So Microsoft would prefer if all developers moved over to UWP for developing games. So, and Steam is one of the biggest things stopping that from happening.
right.
So, yeah, if Microsoft purchased Steam, it'd probably be to shut it down. Well, they wouldn't do that because, man, people would be pissed. But they'd buy it to move people over to UWP in the Windows 10 store in a sort of gradual manner. I don't think that'd ever happen, though.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But Scratch, our buddy Scratch says, "What do you think Sony will do to get some spotlight or buzz since they aren't packing a console announcement to E3?" Um,
No, that's a good question. Oh,
they're
well,
Sony, so they'll get it by default. I mean, you know,
well, I don't know, man. I suppose when it comes to Sony this time, they've got like they do have some big tricks up their sleeve. So, you know, we'll see God of War gameplay. That's going to be huge. You know, we'll probably see Death Stranding gameplay maybe in some form. Hideo Kojima's backing Sony heavily and stuff like that. So we'll see some sort of crossover there. It's a Sony's got big guns, man. Even without, so this calls back to what I was going to earlier. I mean, how do you market 4K on a non 4K display? You can't do it really. You can't really do it, and that's going to be an issue for Microsoft when it comes to E3 because Sony are going to have God of War, which is going open world. God of War is just going to be one of those games that everyone wants to play because it's open world, because it's dark and gritty, and it's the kind of game that Microsoft doesn't have right now.
mhm.
So God of War is going to be massive, and God of War could totally steal the show. So I don't think Sony have much of a reason to be worried right now.
Well, we know Sony's going to be showing one new IP because Sucker Punch is working on a new IP, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be there. So Sucker Punch, makers of Infamous series, they're going to be there with a brand new IP, AAA, whatever their take on something else. You couple that with Kojima and Death Stranding gameplay, couple that with Last of Us 2 gameplay.
Oh god,
You
yeah, I didn't
know,
even think about Last of Us 2.
like
Sony
you
has no
couple.
reason to be worried, honestly.
I mean,
I would say.
Destiny 2 is going to be there. Call of Duty is going to be there. Red Dead 2 will be there. Star Wars Battlefront will be there. They're going to have a lot of games, and because I mean they have a bigger first party stable than Microsoft do. So I mean, like they're going to have a like Jess says, God of War, which I've heard is coming out this year. Gran Turismo. Sony has a lot of aces up their sleeve, and it's kind of Microsoft is finally getting everything right. It's like they're doing the right things at the wrong times, almost. Or maybe
Yeah,
did I say that
they
right?
always do this, you know.
It's like
Microsoft,
Sony
Microsoft
has
had
such
an iPad before Apple did, but it
yeah.
was
I
just
mean,
too early.
Sony had such a huge problem getting their first parties in order for the first like 4 years of this generation, first 3 years. And now Microsoft is finally on track, but now Sony has all their first party studios firing on all cylinders, basically.
Yeah.
And Microsoft can't compete with any of those games. Like, look, I know people love Halo, and I'm one of them, but like, I don't think Halo 6 excites people the way Halo used to. I don't think Halo excites people like Last of Us or a Naughty Dog game. It's just because those games are old in the tooth. And I don't know. Sony's just going to show up. They're going to show all this new gameplay stuff, whether it's in development or coming out soon. The game press and the fanboys are going to completely eat it up. And Microsoft is going to have the Scorpio announcement, showing all that stuff up. And we don't know what else they have. So it's going to be tough for Microsoft. They need to have a killer E3.
I'll be completely honest with you. I'm kind of worried for Microsoft going into E3. I know everyone knows Scorpio's killer, but I'm personally I'm a happy customer. But I think about how everyone else is going to react, and I think about the wider market. I don't think about gamers. I think about the wider market of people who aren't really engaging. With the press and stuff like that. And I'm worried that Microsoft won't have anything that resonates with them. I'm worried about that personally.
All right.
Not to put a damper on things, bro.
Yeah, that's a way to end the podcast. But
there's actually one question I want to answer someone, because they posted it a couple of times. Just quickly, Stokey for Life asks, Jez, do you know much about Dolby Atmos for Xbox games? Now, I'll just touch on this very, very briefly, because we are like round us to go and stuff. But basically, for those who don't know, Dolby Atmos basically lets you have sound coming from every direction. So you could mount a speaker like above you, and you'd be able to hear like enemies that were higher than you, elevation and stuff like that. It's really, really cool tech, and it really does enhance your game. So, like, imagine if you were playing Overwatch, for example, you'd be able to pinpoint more accurately where Widowmaker is and stuff like that from a callouts. And but the thing about Dolby Atmos is it's going to be really expensive, because you're going to need all those speakers to support it, and also the Dolby Atmos kit as well. So it's more for I don't know if it's gonna see like huge adoption. It's more for the audiophiles out there, and that's kind of what Scorpio is right now. It's more for like, I mean, we use this term Windows Central. It's like almost for the prosumer. We call them prosumers, like people who are like, they want the best of the best. You get the 4K game DVR, you get all the latest tech, you get UHD Blu-ray, you get Dolby Atmos and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, there will be Atmos headphones as well, obviously. But if you don't, I prefer not to use headphones when I'm playing games personally. But there will be Dolby Atmos headphones as well. I expect Turtle Beach will announce something at E3. I don't know if they will. I've been trying to dig for info about what Dolby Atmos headsets are going to be announced, but I haven't found anything out yet. But it's exciting technology. We'll just have to see if it just gets picked up on more than just audiophiles, because they are going to be expensive.
Right. Well, that's gonna be the show today. Jez, what do you got any articles you're dropping this week on Windows Central? Any Xbox related stuff?
Well, I've got a review of City Skylines that I'm going to drop it's 21st, I think the reviews drop for that. But the thing is, everyone pretty much knows that it's an amazing game from the PC version already. So the review's more about like, it's more about how does it work on console, because it was designed for a mouse, and a lot of people are like, well, how is this game going to play without a mouse? And it's all about the review's all about performance and how it works without a mouse and stuff like that. But it's positive, guys. It's positive. Put it that way. Other than that,
right.
Nothing major in the works. I'm thirsty, man. I'm thirsty for leaks. I haven't had any. Well,
you get something to drink. I mean, I'll just be dropping. I got some more videos I'll be dropping. Grands in these spotlight
for leaks,
stuff.
Not water.
Yeah. Oh, leaks. Thirsty for leaks. All right. I thought you might be thirsty for bourbon.
I'm thirsty for that as well. Definitely.
Yeah, I got that huge giveaway going on. 20 games, including Voodoo Vince and Ukulele. Link is in the description if you want to enter that. I'll have more videos up for, during the week. I think I got a video for Late Shift and Wonder Boy and whole bunch of other games that are coming out, and of course my rants as well. But thanks guys for hanging out with me and Jez.
Much
Um,
love.
we will be back next Wednesday to talk more about whatever we feel like it. So thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Follow Jez on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to the channel if you like it, and we will see everybody later.
Take care, guys.